The fastest way to make an indie film look like a high-budget sci-fi is taking film lights and making them look like practicals and look like it was based out of Blade Runner 2049. This was one of about 20 different techniques that we used on this short film to boost the production value up, and in this video I want to talk about how we shot a sci-fi film that ended up going viral on the internet and how we were able to achieve a high-concept sci-fi for a very low budget.
Hey.
And then here he wanted them to do like a warmer tungsten, like it's almost like he has like a bit of a warmer light.
90% of the film was shot on the Red Epic by my cinematographer, Dimitri. Since we were shooting the vast majority of the film on anamorphic lenses, we actually had to film a lot of it on 6K. While it ate up a ton of hard drive space, because of Red's codec and conversion, I was actually able to edit the entire film on proxies that was created by Red and just relink all the footage in post-production. So while shooting on 6K is not the way I would probably make a movie now, it was the best way to shoot on the lenses and setup that we currently had and to be able to get the full frame of the sensor that we were shooting on, which was the Red Epic.
Mental health approaching critical levels. Reduction in overtime recommended. Job complete.
So even though this scene was inside a van, we had this whole interior space to have all of our setup. And that was because you need somewhere to build the camera, somewhere to have craft services, somewhere to stay cool, have the monitor. I always try to shoot chronologically when I can. What does chronological mean? Well, that means shooting in the order to which the way the script was written. The reason why this is beneficial is when you start filming on multiple days, multiple locations, crew, everything's bouncing around, your idea of the film starts to become skewed. If you shoot the last scene at the beginning and the beginning scene at the end, as much as you know the script inside and out, you're going to start to be like, oh, does this cut well? And not only you as the director, but think of what your actors are going through. Think of what your cinematographer is going through. And a shot list is what you have, your itinerary for the day, for the shots you've got to capture. So close up, medium, wide, all that stuff. And when I develop shot lists, I have shots that are labeled as axable. So these are nice to have. So it might be a close-up of a detail that captured in a wide, and you want to make sure that you bulk up your shot list more than what might be doable and have shots that can be cut out. What this is going to do is it's going to get your AD, your assistant director, to schedule the day out a little bit bulkier. And guess what? Certain shots are going to go longer than anticipated. So you can axe and cut those shots out if need be.
But you're still breathing, and so you call an ambulance like you would today, right? And they would...
When we got to the location, there was police there. Now sort of scrambling to try and figure out a setup within this short period of time because we had everything. This is the opening scene of the movie. I was like, shit, it's like our first day of shooting and we've lost our second location. So last minute, Dimitri came in and he was like, hey, why don't we set this shot up out the back here? We'll set the lights up on the wall. We'll grease the street. And what that means is, or slick it or grease it, I don't know. Here I am trying to sound like a professional. Essentially, you put water across the ground. Car commercials do this all the time. It just makes the shot more dynamic. And immediately, he was right, and it saved the day. In this section, I want to talk about constructing a scene, the different angles to sort of piece something together. You've obviously seen us shoot this section from a couple different parts. And essentially, from what I remember, there was about, I'm going to say 9 shots. So our first shot is the wide shot of Chase leaving the van. And we played the entire scene out through this wide. The reason why is it's really useful in an edit to get your wide and master at the best lighting. And that was just as sun was setting, or just after the sun had set, which is known as blue hour.
Zach,
yes?
we've got like 2 minutes, and then this is no longer a great shot.
Why?
It's the sun.
And you're able to get sort of a day for night effect while still having some light on stuff, and with a color grade on, you're going to get the best looking shot. Close-ups and tights can actually be done a little bit later on in the day because you're not needing as much detail from background textures.
Job complete. Nice work, Chase.
Shot basically this wide. Then we got into a scene where we shot a sort of two shot, so having the two actors in frame, then an over the shoulder, and then an over the shoulder, an OTS and OTS. That gets us in at 4 shots. And then we maybe got a detail shot of the light blinking on the car. I can't remember. It wasn't put in the scene. We get an insert detail shot. So that's shot 5. And then we go into shot 6 and 7, which is following Chase going back to the van.
So it's just behind here?
Yeah.
And then he'll walk into this.
Let's do one behind his ear, one that sort of leads him. And you said we can catch up with leading him.
Yeah, like even like here. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Action.
Nice work, Chief. You're nearly at You're half a doctor.
Yeah? What does that make me?
You're doing good.
In these 7 shots, you're also going to be repeating each shot maybe 3 to 4 times. If your scene goes for, let's say, a 1-minute scene, you're going to need a minute beforehand and a minute at the end. So we'll call it 3 minutes. You've got 7 shots. So right now, if you use 7 shots 3 times, that's going to be 21 minutes of time. But let's say you do 4 takes. So let's multiply 21 times 4. That one scene is already at 84 minutes long, but you're also not calculating for the reset time, getting the scene set up. I would also just do a multiple of 2 on that. So you're looking at 168 minutes for 1 minute or 2 minutes of screen time. Like, yeah, as much as I want to play it playing from behind him and then we do the loop around, I really want to catch his reaction because it's so...
makes sense. Yeah, because that's important.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. All good? Yeah.
All right, let's toss the slate. Roll
Great.
sound.
And where do you want him to start, Zach? Or... Oh, Unreal.
All right.
Yeah, he graded some of that.
This is Lee Lawson getting prosthetic on, and the most expensive element of the film most likely was this prosthetic, but I needed to have an eye-opening element of the film to really elevate it, and I always find special effects and practical effects one of the best ways to do that.
So, I mean, again, I don't think it phases you. I think it was just like I'm at the office, so just...
Alex and I are going down this hall, blocking out this walking scene. We did not have permission to shoot in this hallway, but we did it anyway. A lot of this film was guerrilla style, and you're just going to have to do that. And also, if you hear me saying guerrilla style a lot, guerrilla style filmmaking is just the act of filmmaking without permission.
Let's see what the reactions are.
Honestly, Queen Street would just be like, Ash.
No, I just
a flash
walk
wound.
around and don't say anything. When people go, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Oh shit! I didn't even notice."
You see this.
Oh, okay, so you're curving around. Okay.
Dana Dolly is my favorite tool, I think, on most indie sets because it looks like a legit dolly, but operates like a slider. And if you're working on a budget, like if the DP says get a Dana Dolly, you get a Dana Dolly. Spooky scene of Chase entering the space. This scene was shot on 3 angles. We shot a side angle of him entering, 1 shot of him leading, and then his reaction coming around the corner to get us into the room scene.
Chelsea?
Yeah.
You've been approved. This is the price.
God, I think I was doing this today. That's a lot. Is it safe?
It's the best material on the planet.
Yeah, it lasts a long time.
You're doing good, Chase.
What I want you to see within this and how we shot it was we went with handheld, and you'll recognize for the vast majority of the movie, it's actually shot pretty stable, either with very minimal handheld shots or a Dana dolly or tripod. And that was because what I wanted to do was use handheld when it was called to tell better for the story. And while handheld on an indie budget is actually one of the best tools because you're able to bang out shots faster, because if you think about it, you don't need a stand, you don't need a tripod, you don't need any of these accessories. You're going to want to migrate and navigate towards doing that more, which if the schedule calls for it, the schedule calls for it. If a day is ending and you're running out of daylight, you go with what can tell the story more than what can tell the style. And wouldn't you believe it, we're getting our final shot of the movie, and what are we shooting it on? The Dana dolly. We never use this tool. It's the first time. Here's me just wanting to hold the Dana dolly because I'm like, this is cool. Directors don't hold the camera as much as you see behind the scenes photos. Like a lot of times when you look at behind the scenes movies, there's like the director holding the camera, and some directors get that luxury, like Michael Bay or Zack Schneider. You'll see them running around with the camera. And maybe the BTS photographer likes taking photos of the director with the camera or by the camera. But a lot of the time, the director's standing behind either a monitor, hovering over the DP's shoulder. Never do they get to touch gear. And this is one of the stark realizations that I realized when I shot one of my first films with a crew, was that I was actually not allowed to do the things that I know how to do, because the director's like treated as like this, don't let him ruin his creativity. His creativity is so valuable. And you're like, wait a minute, what is going on? I just want to help. And then, I mean, that's like one of them. It's not really the most important thing. But the other thing is they just don't want you stepping on toes of the other collaborators. The same as like the actors acting, you like step in and be like, here's how the scene is done if I do it. Cut. Awesome. Yeah. So the last shot of the movie. Just gotta do one more insert. But that was last shot of the movie.
Okay.
So that is how we made Freelancer. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in. I really appreciate you guys being here. And what happened with the movie with Film Riot?
Today we're bringing you one from Ramelan, which is his new short film, Freelancer, and it is a low-budget sci-fi short film that he did a great job with.
Well, the quick and the dirty of it is I had been in chats with Ryan Connolly from the channel for a while. I ended up getting like a dream email from him, and it was like a complete honor to even be like known or acknowledged by.
But now we're going to jump into it and let Zach take over from here.
The opportunity came up to share this film and the making of on their platform, and it was a complete honor to have this film not only recognized by them, but distributed by them on their amazing platform. But that's it, folks. Thank you so much for listening and learning. If there's one thing to take from this video, Plan B always works better sometimes than Plan A. You're gonna be like so caught up in your head being like, no, I gotta do my vision. But then like life happens, the cops show up. The cops always show up. They always poop on the party. And when they do, Plan B will be forced to be pulled out, and you'll never have a Plan B fully figured out. But that's where creative problem solving happens. That's when key collaboration happens in that last moment. And always it turns out better than you originally thought. So lean into the Plan Bs, and Film Riot's amazing. You can find some buttons below to support this channel. But outside of that, absolutely love you guys. Have an amazing day, and go out and make your movie. I can't wait to see it. I'll see you later.